welcome to the deep dive. Today, our source material is quite different. We're not looking at studies or reports.
No, not this time. We've got a stack of, well, true accounts, personal stories.
Exactly. Really raw narratives about encounters that are honestly terrifying. From, like, the truly inexplicable to just cold, hard human evil.
That's right. And we're going deep into 5 of these accounts submitted by listeners. They cover 5 different states: Washington, Massachusetts, New York, Maine, and Kentucky. And our goal really is to pull out the key pieces from these stories. Look at how quickly that sense of safety can just vanish.
Yeah. And what they tell us about fear itself, the psychology of it, and how some things just stay unexplained.
Precisely.
So we've kind of structured this as a descent, you could say. We'll start with that deep primal fear, the natural world stuff.
Okay.
Then move into, well, societal fear. Dangers hiding right there among us.
Human threats.
Right. And finally, we'll touch on historical fear, where the past seems to bleed into the present in really unsettling ways.
It sounds like a plan. Where do we begin?
Let's start out west. Washington State, near Puget Sound. This one deals with a really intense fear of water.
Thalassophobia, that intense, persistent fear of deep water, oceans, lakes.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is the person telling the story, they grew up on an island.
Yeah.
Surrounded by water, but still developed this crippling fear.
That is interesting. So what happened?
Well, the encounter itself was when the narrator, Jules, was just 10 years old. Picture this. Early morning, thick fog on the water.
Okay. Moody.
Very. They're out helping their grandfather fix crab pots. And this grandfather he's described as, like, really tough. An Irish WWII vet, former boxer. Not easily rattled.
Got it. Solid character.
They're just about 20 feet from shore, but as the boat drifts out a bit, the water goes from clear to just black, inky.
Right, that deep water drop-off feel.
Yeah, and that's when things get weird. They stop near the buoys, orange and red ones. Jules leaning over the side, looking down, and sees a little school of fish just scatter, like something spooked them badly.
Okay, like a predator maybe, a seal?
That's what Jules thought. Looked closer, expecting, a seal, maybe a big fish, but instead sees 2 eyes staring back.
Eyes in the water.
Yes. Described as large, wide, wild, horrible. And crucially, Jules insists they looked human.
Whoa, okay, human eyes, that's different. That's not an animal.
Right. Super unsettling. But what really locks this in is the grandfather's reaction.
The tough vet.
Yeah. He apparently showed instant distress, like real fear. He glanced over the side himself, then immediately turned back, threw the gear overboard.
Dumped it.
Yep. And snapped at Jules. Don't look into the water. Just like that.
Wow. So he saw something too, or sensed it.
He definitely saw something. They rushed back to shore. And years later, when Jules was in high school, the grandfather, older then, finally talked about it.
He confirmed it.
He did.
Yeah.
Said he didn't just see fish scatter. He saw a head break the surface, covered in black hair.
Ugh.
And those eyes looking right at him.
Oh, man. A head. That changes everything. It absolutely does, because now it's not just a kid's fear or imagination, it's shared. Confirmed by someone, well, seemingly unflappable.
You could try to rationalize it, maybe? A weird reflection, a decomposing seal? I don't know.
Sure, skepticism is easy. But when 2 people, decades apart, confirm seeing human eyes and a head in the water, that shared experience, it cements the trauma.
Yeah. It makes that fear real. That idea that the source mentions, that there are dark things we cannot even begin to fathom down there.
Exactly. It shifts from a phobia to a potentially witnessed event. Chilling.
Okay, so if the deep holds unfathomable things, what about the things humans harbor? Let's move from that natural unknown to something closer to home, human evil.
Right. Shifting east now?
Yeah, 2 cases. Crime, malice, starting in Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay. From elemental fear to calculated danger.
Absolutely. This story comes from someone who was like 6 or 7 years old. At a busy local fair, they called it the Thumb Fair, got separated from their parents. Panic, confusion, and they grabbed a woman's hand, thinking it was their mom.
Oh, that momentary confusion kids have.
Totally. But this woman, she had big summer hat, big sunglasses, and she was walking fast, silently, with a mask.
Silent. That's interesting.
Very. They didn't say a word. Just kept walking quickly towards the parking lot.
The silence is key, psychologically. If they spoke, the voice wouldn't match, right? The illusion breaks. So they relied on the kid's disorientation.
Exactly. Just speed and silence. And it almost worked. They got to a car. The man started to unlock it.
And the kid realized.
Snapped out of it.
You can't.
Realized it wasn't their mom. Snatched their hand back and just ran, screaming, back towards the fair crowds.
Thank goodness. Close call.
Incredibly close. And the aftermath proved it wasn't just a mistake. The police looked into it.
What did they find?
The car the couple was leading the child to. It was found later, burnt out, abandoned in some secluded woods.
Burnt out? Wow.
And the license plates were fake. The couple was never identified, never caught.
Jeez. So, a definite attempted abduction. Calculated. In broad daylight at a fair.
It's terrifying, that threat hiding in plain sight. Which brings us actually to Staten Island, New York.
Okay.
Here, the fear was amplified because a local urban legend turned out to be horribly real. The legend of Cropsey.
Ah, Cropsey. Yeah, I've heard of that. The bogeyman figure, right. Escaped lunatic, hook hand, hunts kids near an old asylum.
That's the one. A classic story parents told kids in the 80s, to keep them from wandering off.
Standard local folklore.
Except there was a real person, a man named Andre Rand.
Okay.
He was a janitor, had a long criminal record, and he lived and operated near the abandoned hospital grounds linked to the Cropsey legend.
Lived near the site. That's unnerving.
It gets worse. That site wasn't just any old asylum. It was connected to the Willowbrook State School.
Willowbrook. Oh, that place has a truly dark history. Infamous.
Yeah. Exactly. For anyone listening who doesn't know, Willowbrook was notorious for, horrific conditions and unethical medical experiments. They injected healthy children with hepatitis, just awful stuff.
Systematic abuse by an institution meant to care for vulnerable people. It's beyond disturbing.
So you have this backdrop, an institution known for harming kids. Then you have this local bogeyman legend tied to the abandoned buildings nearby.
A perfect storm for fear.
And then children started disappearing for real, like Jennifer Schweiger. Her body was eventually found in a shallow grave nearby.
And Rand was connected.
Rand was the connection. He was found responsible for Jennifer's murder. Suddenly, Cropsey wasn't just a story. He was real.
He was Andre Rand. Oh, my God.
And he was linked to others, too. Alice Pereira, just 5. Holly Ann Hughes, 7. Their remains were never found.
So the urban legend became a terrifying reality, perpetrated by someone connected to that already infamous institution.
It's like a double horror. The monster was real, and he exploited the failures and fears surrounding Willowbrook.
Absolutely chilling. And Rand is still alive.
Still incarcerated. Not eligible for parole until 2037. He'll be 93.
Wow. It really makes you think, doesn't it? When the place meant to protect becomes a source of danger, and the stories you tell become real, where do you even turn?
It's a terrifying thought. Okay, let's pivot again. We've done the deep unknown, the human evil. Now let's look at where history itself feels. Present. Tangible.
Lingering mysteries.
Ghosts of the past, perhaps.
Something like that. We're heading to small-town Maine first, to a place locals called the Maze House.
The Maze House sounds ominous already.
Right. It was this classic creepy house half falling down near the route kids took to school. Everyone assumed it was abandoned for decades. Just had that bad vibe.
You know the type. Every town seems to have one.
Exactly. So the narrator was about 12 or 13, and one day they actually saw someone coming out of the house. First time ever.
Who was it?
An old man. Looked maybe mid-70s, dressed very formally, like a black suit, slicked back white hair.
Strange attire for emerging from a dilapidated house. Right. And he stops the narrator, gives this completely unsolicited, bizarre warning.
About the house.
Yeah. He called it a labyrinth. Said it was way bigger on the inside. Hundreds of floors, thousands of rooms, he claimed.
Okay, that sounds delusional.
Totally. He warned the kid to stay away, said he'd been lost in there for decades, and then mentioned his little friends who were still lost inside, wandering around.
Little friends. Okay, that's getting creepy.
Super creepy. The narrator just thought he was, maybe senile or mentally ill. Brushed it off.
Understandable.
But then, years later, the town finally decided to tear the Maze house down.
Ah, the demolition often reveals secrets.
Did it ever? During the demolition, tucked away in the foundation, under the floorboards, they found skeletal remains.
No, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 small skeletons. Children.
Oh my God, 3 kids.
Forensic analysis suggested they'd been there a long time. Probably since the 1940s or 50s.
Wow. Okay, so the house did hold a terrible secret. But what about the old man?
That's the thing. That discovery makes you look back at his words, right? Yeah. Labyrinth, lost in there, his little friends still wandering inside.
Was it a confession? A sick kind of clue? The little friends being the children?
It makes your skin crawl thinking about it. But here's the final twist, the really unnerving part.
Here's more.
When the narrator asked around later, checked town records, talked to parents, nobody remembered that old man. No record of anyone living in that house for decades, before it was torn down.
Wait, so the man who warned them might not have even existed or wasn't known.
Seems like it. So you have solid physical evidence, the skeletons. And this encounter with a completely phantom figure whose bizarre story now seems horribly relevant. How do you explain that?
Can't, really. Not easily. That's genuinely baffling. Physical evidence meets something else entirely.
We see that same kind of overlap, verifiable history, and a terrifying personal experience in our last story. This was from Kentucky, east of Louisville, on a family farm.
Okay, final case. Let's hear it.
The first part happened about 8 years ago. The narrator was 10, out deer hunting on their family's land.
Right.
They saw a man walking silently through the woods. What stood out was, first, he wasn't wearing any hunter's orange, which is required, and, frankly, unsafe not to.
Definitely noticeable.
Dangerous. And his clothes were wrong, old-fashioned farmer's clothes. And he had long black hair and a long black beard. Just walked past silently.
Weird sighting, but maybe just an eccentric local.
Maybe. The narrator kind of forgot about it until about 3 months ago, hunting again, alone, in the exact same spot in the woods.
Okay.
They tripped, fell down, and their hand hit something hard under the leaves. It was an old, faded headstone.
A headstone out in the woods.
Yeah. Marked only. Unknown deceased, 1899.
1899? Wow. Okay, history popping up.
Exactly. And right at that moment, they looked up. And about 10 feet away,
Don't tell me.
they saw the same man from 8 years before. Same old clothes, same black hair, same long black beard.
No way. What was he doing?
He was hanging from a tree by a noose. Lifeless.
Oh, God. That's horrifying.
The narrator, understandably, freaked out and ran. But later, the shock made them curious. They needed answers.
I would too. What did they do?
Went to the local library, started digging through old records, and they found it. An old newspaper clipping.
Yeah.
Dated July 7th, 1899.
The same year as the headstone. Precisely. The article described an unidentified man who had hanged himself on that very family farm, and he was buried right there next to the tree where he died.
And the description.
The newspaper even had a picture of the body in the coffin. It matched exactly what the narrator saw. The clothes, the hair, the long black beard, everything.
So the sighting wasn't just random. It was tied directly to a specific, documented historical event.
Exactly. This is where those ideas come in, like place memory or residual haunting. The theory that intense events, especially traumatic ones like a suicide, can somehow imprint themselves on a location.
So the narrator wasn't necessarily seeing a ghost in the conscious sense, but more like a recording playing back.
That's one way to think about it. The historical fact, the 1899 suicide, provides a perfect explanation for the visual manifestation seen twice, years apart, by the narrator. The location itself seems to hold the echo of that event.
Man. Okay, so we've covered a lot. The deep sea, abduction attempts, urban legends coming true, haunted houses with real bodies, and historical suicides manifesting.
It's quite a journey through different kinds of fear. We went from the truly unknown in the water to the calculated cruelty of humans and ended with the past literally refusing to stay buried.
It really makes you wonder, though, that final question. If you have these solid facts, the skeletons, the 1899 newspaper article confirming parts of these stories.
Right, the physical anchors.
But they coexist right alongside experiences that defy logic, the old man no one remembers, the figure seen hanging decades later. What does that mean? Where's the line between the world we think we know and something else?
Is there even a clear line? Or is the past, the unexplained, always sort of bleeding through? That's the haunting question these accounts leave us with.
Yeah. What if the past isn't really past at all?
A profound and unsettling thought to end on.
Well, thank you for sharing these really powerful, really unsettling accounts with us. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the shadows.
We hope it kept you thinking, maybe kept you up a little bit.
We hope this deep dive into true horror and the unexplained kept you on the edge of your seat. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.